Do not close what God has opened. Because the same door that you close off to others is the same door that God is trying to open into your heart. If you close yourself off to others, you are also simultaneously closing yourself off to God. And the reason why the Jews, the reason why the Pharisees, the reason why the priests were unable to see Jesus, even in his time on earth from birth to death, they had no ability to see him, is because they have already closed off their hearts. God was trying, it was supposed to be a moment of God to prove that the door has been opened to the Gentiles. That's why Jesus, as he continues his ministry, as he grows up, he's constantly going to the low. He's constantly going to the suffering. He's constantly going to the sick and those of low society. Because even at birth, he revealed himself to the Gentiles. He was working in them, and it was supposed to be this moment. Ellen White goes on to talk about if they had opened their hearts, they could have been there to influence the Magi. They could have been there to influence the shepherds. It could have been Jesus with his people, but Jesus was not received by his very own people. She said when Jesus was born, all that was around him was the animals, his uneducated parents, and these foreigners. But that's the Jesus we serve. He deserves the most because he stoops the most. There was actually another story I wanted to share to close off, but it was Brother Wilmore, thank you for the prayer earlier, but he mentioned something that happened recently. Was on Wednesday, my grandmother had experienced a heart attack. And from the information I know, her major artery was clogged 100%. Now, the funny thing, it's not supposed to be a funny thing, but the only reason she was sent to the hospital was because, my grandmother is a very, very strong woman. I think some of you know her, Miriam Tamungdai. I know that's kind of the name I throw out there because she's very well known. And something about her is she's very strong. And another thing about her is she doesn't want to be a burden to others. So the only reason my mom knew there was something wrong with her was because at night she was crying and saying, God, take away this pain. God, take away this pain. She doesn't go to anyone else about her problems. You know who she always goes to when I used to live with her? Every night she's always praying to God, and every time she has a problem, she goes to God. But it's in that moment of humility my mom realizes she's probably underplaying her pain. She's probably underplaying what's going on with her. And context-wise, she's supposed to go to the Philippines at the end of the week with my uncle. And on that trip, imagine what would have happened if she was on the, I don't know the exact, I know some, how many know how long the flight is? 16 hours? 12, 16, but it's a long time. And in the Philippines as well, we as a family believe 100% if she had not gone to the hospital now, she would have not made it. But it's in her prayer asking God for help that alerted my mom to take her when they did. And in spirit of Christmas, I find joy this morning because today I got a text from my mother, a photo of my grandma for the first time in the past couple days, sitting up and eating for the first time. She got through her surgery. She got through the heart attack. And for those who don't know, her age is 93. Even at 93, she's still leaning upon God. She's still leaning on Him in her suffering, in her pain. And likewise, God is still watching out for her. So once again, there are those around you as you experience this time of Christmas, this time of joy and merry. Maybe you have family members you haven't talked to in a while. Maybe there are people you tend to ignore. Maybe there are people in the church that you tend to write off. But those are doors God is trying to open in your life. Practice stooping. Practice humility. Because it's not, once again, it's not the gifts. It's not the pretty lights. It's the sacrifice and the incarnation of Jesus coming down to earth. Someone so high up willing to give up so much. And that is why he is worthy. God stooped down for you so you could stand for him. Merry Christmas and happy Sabbath.